Hello, Dr. Ben Galyardt here at the Functional Medicine Center of Fort Collins. I want to give you some tips today if you're going to be traveling anytime soon. Especially air travel can be very challenging to the body. It can be challenging to our brain. It can be challenging to all of our systems that need to be able to process the stress in our lives. And when we add that air travel to our lives and the stress that we already have, we can have some pretty significant deficiencies that show up, especially if you're doing it very regularly for work, for business, for pleasure, anything like that. I end up traveling quite a bit, teaching docs around the country, going to different seminars, and it's something that I take very seriously because I do know that I don't feel as well if I am not doing the things to protect myself. And I feel a whole lot better on those trips. I feel like I'm a lot sharper when I get back in town. So a couple things that we want to look at doing. One is to stay hydrated. We've got to drink plenty of water on those air travel days and the days pre and post to it as well. So you want to get upwards of even close to a gallon of water. Adding some electrolytes, the Celtic sea salt, is a great way to go for that. So we want to stay as hydrated as we possibly can. On that note, not always what you want to hear, but if you're traveling for work or for pleasure, it's going to be a whole lot better if you stay away from alcohol on those trips. I know it's not always what we want to hear if you're going down to Mexico or whatever it is, but we want to keep the alcohol to a minimum. Multiple reasons. One, it's going to stress out the liver. We're going to not be able to process the toxins and everything that we need to on those trips, but we're also going to get more dehydrated with the alcohol consumption. Another tool that is huge that we use all the time is the acetylated glutathione. Glutathione is the world's best antioxidant. It's going to be the biggest thing that we can possibly do to help decrease the amount of inflammation and the amount of free radical damage that's coming into the body. The CitraSafe glutathione is the best one that I've found that actually can raise up our levels and make a consistent dramatic change in the glutathione levels in the body. So upwards of 600 milligrams for 2 to 3 days before, during the trip, and 2 to 3 days after is going to be very helpful. So get that glutathione level up. I like for some people that are potentially dealing with vein issues or just are having circulation issues, go ahead and get some of the compression stockings. There's some really good ones out there that aren't as uncomfortable as they used to be. Get the compression stockings. Even if you don't have circulation issues, it's going to be helpful just for anybody to be pumping that flow, getting that circulation going through the body. So there's some great resources out there for some circulation with the compression stockings. And then another trick that I love doing is to bring my noise-canceling headphones. That's one of the big things that we don't think about is there's that noise in the airplane and all the people, and it's just very overwhelming for our stimulation in the body and for all of our senses. So if we can down-regulate that stimulation, it's going to be a whole lot easier on our system to not get overloaded. So bring your noise-canceling headphones, earplugs, whatever you've got that it's going to calm down what's stimulating into the brain. And when you're on that trip, go ahead and do a little exercise. Get some movement in it. Don't do as intense as you necessarily would when you're home, but you want to get some movement. Whether you do some interval on the treadmill, do some sprint work intervals, or do some work with whatever's in the hotel room, whether that's dumbbells, anything like that is going to be very helpful. And remember, increase your fat intake on those trips. So if you've got some MCT oil, if you've got any way to make a fat drink in the morning and bring some butter with you, bring some oil with you, any of those tools are going to be great. Keep the brain improving and working as well as it can on that whole trip. So if you have any questions, drop me a line, but we can definitely travel safer as far as our body goes, and we can come out a whole lot better than we could otherwise. So go and get them.